All right, Ironclad, Ascension 6, let's do it. We get offered New Leaf, Lost Coffer, and that's what we're going to go with. And the Hefty Tablet. Hefty Tablet just has not been working for me. I've been struggling to make it work. That extra curse on top of the Ascender's Bane as we get into the second half of the Ascensions has been tough. It's been tough. And this time, Ironclad, there may have been one loss before this run, so starting to feel a little bit better about playing him again. I think one of the things that I'm noticing is I got to lean more into the exhaust stuff, and by doing that, it just tends to be a better run overall. So anyway, here we started with a Perfected Strike, and first thing that goes into my head is like, oh, maybe we get a clone Perfected Strike run. I'm not sure we're going to be that lucky. This is, although I can tell you we're not going to be that lucky. This is a post-game commentary once again. This is just too many losses the last time to risk trying to talk through 7 games in a row or whatever it was. But anyway, we're going to go through the Nimbit fight. Very minimal damage taken. So all of a sudden, we're feeling pretty good here. And we're offered a Feel No Pain, which I've been neglecting it. Old me would have taken Tremble here. New me is going to take Feel No Pain when it's offered, even if it's early. It's just such a good card. Then we get this or that, and this seems like a time where that's fine, mostly because Clumsy exhausts, which works with Feel No Pain. So kind of a little cool thing there. And we can deal with that after. And also, if we've got a Feel No Pain, we're expecting to be able to exhaust things anyway. So things like Burning Pact would work really well, among other things. There's a True Grip, so we get our first piece of the puzzle. And we can do the Sword Stone or get 109 gold for 7 health. That sounds better to me right now. We were kind of poor, but some extra health will go a long way. Or extra gold will go a long way because we've got a bunch of question marks in a row. So surely we'll be spending some amount of gold. And, I was thinking about the Tea of Discourtesy here, which wouldn't have been terrible with Feel No Pain, but opted for going and spending $50. Then we get immediately the Kusuragama or something like that, where if you play 3 attacks, you do 4 or 6 damage. We'll find out at some point. And Frozen Egg. So our first egg, very exciting. I love Frozen Egg, especially getting it before I take any powers. So getting it early in the run is kind of nice because immediately, we can start looking at powers differently when obviously they're all upgraded. Not bad. There's the True Grit. The True Grit got upgraded thanks to the the hand drill, I think, or the hand punch that upgrades 2 cards every combat. So that's really nice. And this fight otherwise is a little tricky, actually. I was surprised that I ended up taking any damage here with the draw of Perfected Strike on turn 1. But it was what it was. So, yeah, unfortunate. It was 6 damage that the Kusuragama does. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right or if that's even what it's called at all. We get through that fight. I get an explosive pot here to go with it. Setup Strike sounds okay, but mostly because it's a strike in it, so it's going to help scale our Perfected Strike. So that's fine. We'll go with that. Perfected Strike now does 30 instead of 27. And I'm feeling strong enough to fight against the Frog Parasite. I think we're already quite strong, which is pretty nice. So already taking them down to beyond half health. And we've got the explosive pot for the Wrigglers there later, which is going to be quite nice. And we'll take a little bit of damage here, but if that's the worst of it, I would most certainly call that a win. So we are going to split here, and might as well immediately do the explosive potion, and we can take one out. The 8 damage, or the 8 health guy is going to do 6 damage, and then the other guy is going to do, in the back, statuses. So this way I can focus on just killing stuff, and it doesn't really matter what I do here, because took 2 strikes or a Perfected Strike, so we're just going to get through the fight like that. And then the upgraded strikes are nice. We are able to get a easy kill on both of them with that, and we score an Ornamental Fan and a Drum of Battle, which exhausts the top card of the exhaust pile. That was up against Forgotten Ritual, which is a really nice card in an exhaust deck. But, I mean, upgraded power, how often do you get upgraded powers? I was like, let's lean into what we got going here. Already, Perfected Strike is going to go pretty hard here. We got 0 defense cards, so we might as well just try to kill one or as close as we can to it. I guess there was an argument to play Popple Strike first to see if we got something. We would have gotten a defend, but then we wouldn't have been able to do all that damage with the Perfected Strike. So I think this is actually just as fine. And, you know, with this hand here, we just about full block thanks to Feel No Pain and Ascender's Bane. So yeah, doing pretty good. Drum of Battle is cool because it draws when you play it. And it took me a minute to like really catch that for some reason. But yeah, it was nice. So Perfected Strike's going to help us close this out. We lose a strike in the process, and any attack in the next fight or the next turn will take us through here. So Drum of Battle, I was very hesitant on because I was like, you know, I don't have a headbutt or anything, so I'm a little concerned about just losing good cards that I need for the run. But I don't have anything really scaling. So the draw is nice, and then the guaranteed block once I Feel No Pain is also nice. So the only real consideration is, do you play it early on, or do you wait for a better turn to play it? Unfortunately, pointing out here that I have gotten, I think, all of my defensive cards already. So I'm going to take damage in the next turn, which is unfortunate. We do have a couple of potions, though. But man, that's one of the worst draws I've seen in a while. We could play Drum of Battle and really hope that we get Feel No Pain. Otherwise, we would have exhausted Feel No Pain on the next turn. And yeah, scary stuff. So Skill Pot, though, will maybe help us here. We get Tremble, Blood Wall, or Primal Force. I do like Tremble. While Blood Wall gives us a lot of block, we can also get block from Tremble Exhausting. Not a ton, but 58 damage, especially if we drop the strike here again. We don't. It would have taken us through to the end. So instead, we are going to be better off blocking for a bunch or as much as we can, taking one more hit, and then hopefully this turn we get Perfected Strike and we get out of here. So we end up with a Lucky Tonic and a pair and an upgraded Aggression. Now there's the Headbutt that I was talking about. Maybe that makes sense to take. But Aggression is a card that I've played minimally, and I'm interested to see how it does here. I do kind of like the idea of it anyway. And every time you play, or your turn ends and the next turn starts, you get one of your cards back upgraded. And that's just awesome. I mean, there's a high potential for damage there. So and I think you can get an already upgraded card back. I don't know if it prioritizes or not, but pretty sure there's something to do with that. And yeah, we're in pretty good shape here. So unfortunately, we're frail, but with the True Grit, we actually block for a little bit more efficiently because of the exhaust does not get frailed. It gives you the full value. So we go with that. And from here, we should be good with a single Perfected Strike, and really any other attack will do it. So I'm not sure if I'm doing math correctly here. No, we're good. We're good. I thought I was going to do something embarrassing. We're offered a Tremble for real. So we are going to take one now that we just saw how good it was. And rest up for the boss fight. Because we're up against Vantum, and Vantum every, fourth turn? Third turn? Well, I guess it's third the first time and fourth after that. He does a lot of damage. So, yeah, you got to be careful. But we have that buffer. And for sure, we're going to save that buffer for the turn where he just does massive damage. Now, we want to be careful that we're playing all one-cost attacks, because there's no real benefit to playing two-cost yet. Since he's slippery. So the idea is to play as many cheap, weak, doesn't matter attacks as you can, and then try not to take too much damage either. So this is definitely going to be the Lucky Tonic play, and that'll get us through at least this phase so we can start doing attack. But you can see the wounds start piling up very quickly here. That may also work out to our favor with the Drum of Battle. Now, I'm not sure how often we'll get to hit that, but, you know, every once in a while we'll be able to get a wound out of the deck. And True Grit as well. Now, otherwise, I would have loved to have True Grit other things, but we'll take what we can get. And lucky for us, Bash was upgraded. I don't remember if that was Hand Punch or from the Aggression card, but yeah, we got a lot of Vulnerable on this guy now. And I decided to double down on it. I hope we're not going for 8 turns, but we lost the Perfected Strike. But at least this way we can start banging out some real damage. And again, we've got a little concern here, but with Feel No Pain, we can exhaust a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to keep 1 defend just in case. And we'll only take 10 here versus that 29. So that worked out pretty well. Anyway, Pommel is going to continue to do some work for us. Setup Strike is helping. That extra strength does seem to go a long way. And we don't have to worry about Bash anymore, so we can just play for efficiency and damage, which is nice. And clearly at this point, we're going to get through this fight without any more issue because Aggression always puts a card back. And we only need 1 other attack to make this all happen. And there we go. Phantom is down. 10-minute Act 1, not bad. We get a Cure-All. And really nice upgraded powers. 3 upgraded powers. But Unmovable is my pick. Dark Embrace seems good, right? With Drum of Battle, especially. But I always struggle with block on Ironclad and decide that that's really what I want. From Teskatara, we go with the Seal of Gold, which is 5 gold, gives you an energy every single turn. I have 422 gold, and we often are finishing fights pretty quickly, maybe with the exception of boss fights. So I'm not too worried about running out of gold, but certainly it can happen. Now, this turn is pretty awful, so we're definitely going to take some damage. But on the plus side, we had 4 energy, so at least we can take the guy in the back down pretty quickly. Perfected Strike, again, not particularly helpful in this fight here. So we'll get through okay without any more damage taken. And unfortunately, we didn't exhaust the Perfected Strike. That actually would have been better. Tremble is another card that is only worth playing if we want the block. Because basically all of our cards are upgraded and we're almost doing max damage with every hit that we do, no matter what card we use. And with the exception of the guy in the back who would benefit by having 9 3 times, you know, the lower attack cards don't really even matter that much. So anyway, from here we should be able to get out without any more problems and get our gold back with a Bully or maybe another Shrug. Blood Wall just doesn't seem to be it right now for me. I think Shrug is the play. I like Shrug generally, and the extra draw is nice. I also like this Hand Punch. It's really nice. Just a couple of upgraded cards. Feels like it goes hard. And we're not going to full block here, but we're able to take the one guy out immediately, which is nice. And we once again get Perfected Strike right away, which even doing some math, I don't think could have got out. No, we would have had... Well, actually, we would have with the Surigama. We could have killed him. Oh, missed math right there. Missed opportunity. You always got to keep thinking about those relics up there in the bar. That would have gotten us exactly 48. We go to the doll room. I don't really care so much, so we're going to go with Mr. Struggles. And I didn't want Bing Bong there. I think he's very often good, but there's very often times where I do not want 2 of the same card. So in the shop here, we've got some options. I actually like Oddly Smooth Stone for the 1 dex for every fight and every time we play a block card. Really nice to have that. And then there's nothing else too exciting. Stratagem seems interesting, so we'll give that a shot. But otherwise, which actually works out pretty well with Drum of Battle, especially if we get Drum of Battle late in the deck cycling. That gets us like a special extra card of our choice, which is kind of nice. But Pillage is also a nice little draw card. So at this point, I think we've got our draw pretty well sorted out between Pommel Strike, which will eventually get upgraded, and Pillage, which is a really nice card to have. Although, I gotta say, I'm not sure it performed that well this time. It was very much a couple of times I think it was good. We also picked up an Ascension Strike, I should probably mention that, which is our scaling card. And with all of the exhausting we're doing, I think it's a good pick. Now, it's worth mentioning that it is at risk of being exhausted with Drum of Battle. But what are you going to do, right? Like, that's a 20% risk every time we draw it. And that means that the rest of the time it's doing great. So, Unrelenting, Bloodletting, or Tremble. I do like having a Bloodletting for some extra energy randomly when needed. So we are going to take one of those. But I'm very careful to only take one of those. They're not typically a card that I like to have multiple of. It really is not fun when you draw 2 of them together. Or if you use one and draw into to play a draw card, and you draw into the other one, you're like, well, that was pointless. So yeah, sometimes they cause extra damage unnecessarily if you have multiple. Obviously, there are decks where it does work, but I don't think this is said deck quite yet. Now we're going to upgrade here. Feel No Pain or True Grit is the answer. Right now we're going to go with Feel No Pain. This way we get a little bit more block from things like Ascender's Bane, Clumsy, and just exhausting with Drum of Battle every time. It's going to be nice. True Grit is definitely deserving of an upgrade, and thankfully we whiffed on Ashen Strike, so we're able to play that. But at some point, I'll probably upgrade that as well. Now we have all that energy, so we can continue to get set up here. And the Louse, Master Louse here is not all that scary. This fight's going pretty well for us. Here you can see Pillage just draws us one. Kind of sad. But that's okay. Clumsy continuing to be good for us with that exhausting, and nothing really lost by having it. So, and again, Tremble is nice, even better now. We get 4 block from playing that. And we're blocking very well at this point in the game. I'm very surprised that we're taking 0 damage, and we lost the Ashen Strike. There you go. And we're doing pretty decent damage without a ton of strength. We have 3 strength with setup strike, and otherwise none. So just big damage cards are helping us. We get another Ash Water, which I'm going to pass on. Inflame Plus seems pretty good. Headbutt Plus seems good. Again, we're getting some strength, but having some dedicated strength is really nice. And then Inflame Plus always feels like such a big difference from just regular old Inflame. But we walked out of that fight with no damage taken, so that's a good time. Now from here, debating on which direction I wanted to go, ended up on the left. We get a Stoned Calendar. Yay. Hopefully we never see that go off, because that would mean the fight's gone too long. And we go up against the Hunter Killer, who, again, a enemy that I tend to have some difficulty with, depending on the order that we play things. Nicely, though, for us, things like Perfected Strike don't really get super impacted by this, but Defend does. Getting another Defend for 3 block does, so like maybe the focus should just be damage. And this is most definitely a good turn for the potion, Ship in a Bottle. We don't have Feel No Pain up yet either, which is unfortunate. But we do get that Tremble Ashen Strike combo, which is really nice. And we can start putting some damage on, which we need to do because we don't have a whole lot of block coming our way right now. And I'm not sure why I didn't play Tremble. Well, now it doesn't matter, but I think we would have killed it. Oh, was it already vulnerable? Oh, maybe we just didn't need to. Never mind then. So Ashen Strike doing a lot. That'll get us out of this fight, and we can move on to skipping Juggling. Next up, we are going to rest, get to full health here as we go into another Elite, followed by a couple of fights. And I was worried that this was the Elite. I should have known that this was the Elite. I didn't really think through it, but yeah, this guy's terrifying. And often where I take a ton of damage on not just turn 1, but like turn 2 and turn 3. So I'm feeling pretty good about my decision to heal. And, we're going to just get some damage going here. Pillage probably should have been the second card I played after Bash and Bloodletting. But it is what it is. We're going to do that now and get him down as far as we can. Did we get a kill? I don't think we can get a kill here. No. And Cure All is actually going to be played just so we can block for a ton, because we didn't use our double block for Immovable yet, so this is kind of nice. And actually, True Grit did a little bit more than the Defend Plus, thanks to the Feel No Pain. And now we're in good shape. Now we can basically kill whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want. And, oh, actually, we're a little shy, so we're going to have to think it through a little bit more than that. But we can at least take out the middle guy, and Clumsy will help, too, with some block. Well, I guess maybe we're going to attack the front guy. That's fine. So, not quite... Oh, no, actually, it is a full block. Oh, look at that. It fit nicely, like a glove. We get Perfected Strike back, which, again, like I said, if it's upgraded, you can just get that card back, which is kind of nice. Not sure. Oh, that's right. We've got Stratagem. I think it throws me off every time I get it. Like, wow, where did that come from? And 36 damage on that pommel. I'm not even sure where that damage, where it came from. But we don't have time to think about that. We're on to Juggernaut things. That wasn't Stone Calendar, was it? Jeez. What hit so hard? I'm not even sure. We get a real nice setup turn here. We're going to be able to stun the guy in the front too, which is nice. Unfortunately, we're going to be weakened. So it's going to make it difficult even if we get a nice perfected strike to take out the Silk Bowl Bug. But all good. We'll be able to block for enough. And we missed out on Juggernaut for our first draw. That's too bad. By the way, we have 2 eggs now. I didn't even mention. We just got a Toxic Egg. So we're 2 of 3 eggs complete. That's kind of nice. It's, skills are good. Bloodletting plus, I like it. Forgotten Ritual plus, I like it. Most colorless cards, if we get offered or able to buy one, I like it. Master of Strategy, stuff like that. Oh, so many good options. But yeah, at this point, I'm thinking let's start getting some damage on the back guy there. He's the one who's really going to hurt us for the long run here. And we can just manage the guy in the front with some decent blocking. So definitely we can take him out at this point. We get the Drum of Battle, which is really nice. This is what I was talking about. So we get the draw and we get Stratagem, which is interesting that Stratagem actually procs before you draw your cards. So I guess that's good. I guess that makes sense. But at the time, I didn't really think it through. And easy choice to kill the one in the back to take less damage. And we could block here, so maybe we could have just killed him. No, I think it would have been a little bit shy. But he's stunned, so this fight's over. Ascension Strike going to close it out for us. And we get a Shrug Plus or a Molten Fist. And a Molten Fist is not bad. We're doing a lot of damage with our Vulnerable, and we've had already instances where Vulnerable is quite high. So doubling it, and it exhausts. So it gives us block after we've played Feel No Pain. Not a bad card. Exhaust is really nice on cards for Ironclad. We like to see that. Now, the Mites are always a hassle for me. The Toxic is a terrible status, and I never seem to have quite enough energy to do the things that I want to do. But we're actually, I think, strong enough to potentially kill one, or we can just eat some damage, which is more likely going to be the case. Yeah, we'll eat some damage. It is what it is. So second Toxic goes down. This time we can take out the high damage guy just barely, and then play a couple of cards and get rid of that Toxic there. Question is, do we play more attacks or defends or Feel No Pain? I think that was fine. Doesn't really matter, honestly, because this guy is now setting up and we can hit him pretty hard. So next turn he's dead ski no matter what happens. Very good. Oh, I can click on the card for Stratagem. Then we're offered another Shrug Plus, Armaments Plus, which isn't bad, but we're getting a lot of things upgraded now between the 2 eggs. And we get the Hand Punch that also upgrades things, and we can upgrade at the Fire, which we are going to do because we have a lot of health. So True Grit's probably the best choice here. And it just doesn't seem like a fight or a game where we need to take an Armor Plus here. We do get the World's Worst turn 1. Definitely going to be a Power Pot fight. And I think I opt for Barricade here, which in hindsight, maybe not the best. Maybe I should have played Hellraiser or anything else. I don't know. It didn't feel like it did all that much. Part of it because I took Disintegrate. So no matter what, I lose a bunch of health or I take a bunch of damage. But at least we start off the first round here just about full blocking. And we do maintain a little bit of block with that. So that's cool. You get Immovable, which works out well with storing some extra block as well. Pillage, Stratagem, Ascension Strike, oh my. And we're going to full block again, but just barely. So already Barricade's like, I mean, I guess it saves 6 health, right? That's not terrible. We get the first bash down. It was not an upgraded bash. And I'm starting to wonder, I'm going to run out of gold here. So do you start running out of energy when you run out of gold? I assume so, but I wasn't paying attention. So we're about to find out together. Look at us learning together while we watch the VOD. I love it. The Knowledge Demon, he's kind of scary, but at the same point, he gives you so much time to set up and burst that you usually can get out without too much concern. And here's where I'm thinking, yeah, let's just get him vulnerable again. All right, we're down to 0 gold. We had 4 energy this turn, so let's see what happens on this next turn. We get a nice turn here, though. We get bloodletting. Oh, I picked sloth. That was okay. So yeah, look, we're limited to 3 energy, and maybe that was why I picked sloth, because I was thinking we could play 3 cards anyway. So how often am I going to use 4 energy on 3 cards? Turns out not that frequently. There was only if I get bloodletting. But we can go for big damage here. Ascension Strike's going to take him out with a hit of 55. Not bad. And we get to pick another couple of upgrades. This time there are 2 skills that are upgraded. Brand Plus or Impervious Plus. And you might think Impervious is the better card. But man, Brand just fits with what we're doing. So we get Psy, Spike Gauntlets, or something else. And Psy is definitely it. Another 7 block at the start of every turn is going to keep us alive. Especially with some of these tougher Act 3 bosses or fights at the end of the act before we get to the boss. And we finally get to play Juggernaut. I think this is the first time we've played Juggernaut. You could now you get to see how things just start to snowball here. 7 damage Juggernaut, that upgraded Juggernaut is quite nice. And everything from Tremble to Molten Fist to Curses, every time they exhaust, are going to do 7 damage. It's the classic iconic duo of Feel No Pain and Juggernaut. You love to see it. And to be honest, I have not gotten it yet. This Spire 2, this is the first time. Took quite a few games to get there. We get another Shrug or Inflame Plus. I'm going to take the Shrug. Now that we're doing so much damage via block, it seems even more important. And for that reason, making a skill that gives you 8 blocks seems good. And draw 3 is really useful, for sure, with 4 energy. And I don't think this, well, especially with Bloodletting too. Bloodletting and 4 energy, the draw is it. Because we have Toxic Egg, guess what? It's upgraded. So that was quick. I spent a minute thinking about that, by the way. I just gave up the Frozen Egg for Potion Belt. Because I'm thinking it's unlikely that I'm going to take any other powers. I can't think of any that I really want. I certainly can't be buying any now because we're broke with the Seal of Gold. So we just need gold, which thankfully the chest gives some. We're given a Lasting Candy, which is kind of late in the game to get one of those. And we're not going to follow our drawing. We're going to go to the right instead. We're going to do some work here, where if we can get that Juggernaut down, we're going to get out of this fight without really taking any damage at all, potentially, which is exciting. And, again, we just dish it out constantly. So I am going to play Juggernaut, despite the fact that I can't full block anymore, or I wouldn't have been able to anyway unless Pommel hit something good. So we'll take a little bit after all, but no problem. Brand is here to save the day. 1 HP, but gain some block from exhausting. And we got that Bloodletting if we want to play it, but I'm not sure it's worth it. It doesn't exhaust or anything, so Ornamental Fan, like, it does technically, we're even if I play it, so it actually does make sense to play it. And we got the Cursuragama, I think. I need to look what it's called before I start trying to say the name repeatedly. But that's going to do some more damage. So it was definitely, it was profitable, net positive to play the Bloodletting in that case. And I'm glad I did. It worked out in that case. So Stratagem going to get us True Grit. For sure, that's what we're doing. And look at that. A movable just does so well with how much block you get on that first turn, saving us so much health. And just none of this is scary anymore. This fight is as good as over with Psy, by the way, also procs Juggernaut. There you go. There's another, all the damage. I didn't even do anything. We get a Book of 5 Rings, which is completely useless. Perfected Strike Plus or Pommel Plus. We'll go with the Pommel Plus. It makes our current Perfected Strike better. And I don't really want more Perfected Strikes. It's hard to spend that energy. We're winning by blocking. And I guess by Mr. Struggles. Which, by the way, if you didn't know, that's from Backpack Hero. And if it's or Backpack Battles, which was a fun game. Free to play that now you can buy. And pretty neat if you haven't checked it out. I liked it. I would recommend it. It got a little too big for me. It was fun earlier for me, and then I kind of fell off it. But yeah, if it's something you're into, check it out. Probably should have played Brand there first, but yeah, not going to make that big of a deal. We do block for a lot. I think we may end up losing a little bit of health here. We could energy potion, but it's really just to save a couple of life. And I think that's probably better used later in the fight or at the boss fight or an elite fight than saving 2 max health that I don't care that much about. So, and again, we block for so much. We didn't play Juggernaut this turn or this game, this fight, whatever. All of the above is true. But it's all right. We can get out without it. They were offered a whole bunch of stuff. Body Slam's kind of interesting, but you know what? Stone Armor is really interesting because that is 6 turns of 7 damage if we play it after we play Juggernaut. And I kind of like it going into the boss. Unupgraded, I wouldn't take it. By the way, it was upgraded. We don't even have Frozen Egg anymore. I wonder if the game forgot and we just kept getting upgraded powers. We didn't see it in the shop, so I'm guessing that was just a random lucky upgrade. But I thought it was funny when it happened. We've got enough health here where it definitely makes sense to upgrade something. I thought about Tremble, but like Shrug is just always getting played. So I think it's actually the better option here. Especially going into this fight, I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, look how smart I am. It makes so much more sense. Because I can't even get Bash to go off. I couldn't get vulnerable on this guy if I wanted to. It's almost impossible. I have to go through the deck multiple times. But this guy, as always, is a little scary. Especially if you don't draw what you need on the turn that you need it. Luckily for us, we didn't need block quite yet, but pretty wild that we got 0 block cards that last turn. This turn, we do get it, though. We get the... well, we don't even need it this turn. We need it next turn. But we do get Juggernaut. So now I'm happy, and we might as well play Tremble just to get it out of the deck. Also, it did damage because it exhausted, and yeah, you get it. You understand how this works now, I'm sure. So, the Goblin Sentry, whatever this guy, Goblin Mech, which is kind of cool. I guess he took over the defect parts and made his own warrior body. It's kind of neat. He's going to try to deal damage to us, but not going to happen. Not going to happen. We get to get through the rest of our deck here. Definitely, this is a good example of Stratagem Burst into Drum of Battle. Gives us the option to draw cards that we want, which is really cool. And it worked out well there. Again, I'm not bothering to try to play Bash. We just want to do damage. So Ashen Strike has been great here. And especially now, like if it pulls back after we exhaust a card, it scales automatically. And there's probably a deck archetype that I haven't really thought about until I'm watching this of Aggression, Ashen Strike, Drum of Battle, and very few attacks, with mostly just like skills and defend and exactly what we're doing with just literally just less attacks. And then we could scale that really effectively, which would be pretty neat. This turn, a little rough. I don't think I have enough damage to kill, but then I'm like, oh wait, I do, because I'm just crushing him with Juggernaut. And that's it. There you go. There's the Ashen Strike doing a ton of damage. And we get a Strawberry. Second wind was definite. That would have been nice in that fight, actually. So kind of poetic that we got it then. And we're on to the Jabronis, who are always a hassle. But we get a really nice early hit with Juggernaut, which is nice. So I'm debating second winding here. I figure I might as well start putting some damage down. 21 damage is pretty decent. And unless we drew a Bloodletting for the first card, couldn't do anything better anyway. We get a movable, which lets us defend for a bit more than otherwise, especially now that we're down in Dex. And that is going to help. I will definitely take that. But these guys, yeah, they can be a hassle. You know, you got to be pretty quick with how you're dealing damage. The nice thing is we have a lot of tools here that aren't heavily affected by strength down or dex down. Like, it doesn't actually matter. All we care about is gaining block. And by gaining block, we deal damage. By hitting with Ashen Strike, which scales more than the strength loss, we deal a ton of damage. So the deck is, again, functioning very well here. And pretty happy with how that's going. Here we go. Stone Armor, hitting for another 7 at the end there. And something exhausted, so we hit for 14 there, which is pretty neat. So, yeah. Second win is going to take us to the Promised Land. Get a Fire Pot filling up that potion belt. And interesting choices here, but I think we just go with another shrug. It's been working. I feel like there's sometimes less is more, but in this case, I think more is more. That's what we do. We're offered the mirror here. I don't think this is a good mirror, so we're just going to go with the upgrade downgrade option. We do lose the Feel No Pain upgrade, but like I was thinking about this, and believe it or not, at this point, we don't care so much about that because now Feel No Pain has become more of a mechanism to do damage than to save our lives. We're already overblocking most of the times, so why don't we just move on, right? Like we don't need to upgrade it, re-upgrade it. I could have Smith. We have nothing that's going to heal us going into the fight. I was looking for Panther because I made that mistake enough times. But we go for the full heal because you know what? This can be a tough fight. And we've talked about this a few times now against Queen of, do you go directly at Queen? I think in this case it makes sense to kill the Torchhead. We're offered Crimson Mantle, Stampede, and Pyre. All of these are good, by the way. Every single one of them is good. But I figure energy is always better, especially because I could run out of gold here. So that's the play. For me, that's what we're going to do. But yeah, I figure the Torch Amalgam makes more sense to kill here because our damage is random. We don't know what the Feel No Pain and the Juggernaut's going to hit. Might as well use the Fire Pot, I guess. Whatever. And now being bound is actually not that terrifying. I thought about Second Wind being better here than what I just played. But we have enough where we can just keep dealing with this damage, no problem, by dealing damage. I should have True Gridded, I think, for sure, instead of one of the other cards, just to thin the deck a little bit. And again, it would have done a little bit more damage. Oh wait, no, we didn't play Juggernaut yet. Never mind. All's well. We made good choices there. And instead now we're making good choices of putting the damage on. We will take some here. That's okay. 12 by 3. It's going to do a little bit, but we had some nice exhausting going on there as well. Brand for sure is going to be a good card to play. I could play Stratagem, but I'm not sure Stratagem is that worth it. So we're going to hold off at least for this cycle of draw. And Stone Armor is going to keep us from taking too much more damage. And again, it's going to do 7 turns of 7 damage or whatever. We're close to that. We do finally get Immovable, which means we can't play Drum of Battle. So that's unfortunate. We're going to have to wait until we draw all the way around. But, I think that's fine because the goal is to survive the fight. And the double block is really going to be what gets us there. So this is an interesting case where I think, for one, it's time to start focusing on the other enemy because I might actually kill him accidentally with all of our extra methods of doing damage. And it gets very close. I think I might end up having to... Do I have to hit him? No, because I have like 5 more shots to kill him. Because we've got Second Wind, which is going to do a bunch of attacks. And with Second Wind, we proc the defense of the Second Wind for each card we exhaust, and then the exhaust. So every card that we play and exhaust actually does 14 from a single Juggernaut. Like, that's where some of the scaling gets insane, and that's how the exhaust synergy works here of, like, you block for so much, and you deal so much damage that we're blocking for 51. There's no chance. Like, Queen has no chance at this point. 25? What is 25? I don't even know. I didn't remember playing Stratagem, but apparently we did. Now I get to play that Drum of Battle, and Bloodletting Plus seems like the card we want since we have already got a Pommel Strike in hand, among other things. And look at that. Second Wind is there again. So maybe we can draw a real nice Second Wind hand. I don't know. It's not bad. It's not great either. Yeah, it's really not that great. I guess... why am I defending? I think Second Wind is better here. Yeah, for sure it is. So again, we do 28 damage there with Second Wind. Pretty wild, really. And Perfected Strike's going to help us close it out. And GG, we made it. Look at all those buffs we got and debuffs. Good fight for Ironclad. That was a nice run. Showing once again just how strong Feel No Pain and Juggernaut is. That's why it was such a good combo in the first game, especially with Corruption. And it's still a strong combo now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.